What's going on with Bit Digital stock? What are its strengths and its weaknesses? Where does it look good? What does the chart look like it might be doing here going into the near future and far-flung future alike? Let's take a deep dive into Bit Digital today and see what we find there. Welcome back, traders. It's been a while since I've talked about Bit Digital in any length. There was that period of time where I was pretty negative on it. That time has since passed for the most part. Well, let's take a look at it again and some depth today. Right now, we're on Simply Wall Street. I'm going to take a look at a few things here. First of all, I want to look at their valuation. According to Simply Wall Street, they see it as considered fair value. That's an opinion. I'll take that at face value, with a grain of salt. It might be fairly valued. It might be highly overvalued. It might be slightly undervalued. I think it's probably close to what most analysts would consider a fair value at the moment, considering if you look at the Sage tracker on Webull, you can see that most of the big investment banks were buying around its current price, around $3 or so. So let's have a look here at financial health. So this is a really important one. We've got the halving coming up in 2 months. Bit Digital needs to get there to survive. And honestly, I think they're going to. If you look at their short-term assets versus short-term liabilities, they are crushing it with multiples more in assets than in liabilities in the short term, and the same in long term. They have almost no debt. In fact, they have zero debt up here, and they have 20 million in cash, 103 in equities. They are generating, cash flow through the Bitcoin network and the fees there. They're generating cash flow through their Ethereum staking, and they're now generating cash flow through their AI business that we'll talk about in a few minutes here. But let's take a look down at this balance sheet. Looks all green on here. That's really nice. Earnings. There we go. The revenue. So for 2023, you can see here that Bit Digital earned, their revenue was about 36.3 million, and their earnings, basically what they earned was minus because they're not profitable currently. They lost 80 million throughout the year in terms of operating costs compared to the 36 million that they brought in. And this reality is why when CleanSpark posted a profit last quarter, that it took off, and it is still taking off. It's kind of become the darling of the Bitcoin miners right now because it is profitable when no one expected it. But this isn't a video about CleanSpark. Let's continue with Bit Digital. So those are important things, right? Now, if we go down to ownership, we can see who owns them. Big names and the top shareholders are Invesco and BlackRock. This data actually isn't up to date. Webull has the most up-to-date data, and I'll do a screen grab from my phone here. And okay, so Invesco and BlackRock. So Invesco is invested at $3.14, which is above the current price of Bit Digital. BlackRock is invested at $3.02, which is a bit below the current value. State Street, they're a huge hedge fund. They're in at 291. Vanguard's down here somewhere. Yeah, they got in at 288. But let's stick with the top three for now. Now, those are the important ones at this moment. Invesco owns 8.18% of the company, BlackRock 8.15%, and in State Street 3.85% of the company. You can see that both Invesco and BlackRock have a little over $31 million invested in this company, and State Street $14 million invested in this company, almost 15. And State Street decreased their holdings by almost 6%, whereas Invesco and BlackRock both increased recently, and that would have been in January actually, their holdings by about 31 or 30-ish%. Now, I understand that both Invesco and BlackRock manage trillions of dollars, and that $31 million is like a quarter to me. But, just like I don't want to lose a quarter, I don't think they want to lose $31 million. So it's a small amount of money to them, but they still don't want to lose it. So they're invested somewhat in this company and its success, and they believe in it to a certain extent, at least, $31 million worth. If we take a look at the company real quick, I'll show you right now, if we go to profile and we go to institutions and scroll down to, yeah, just all, yeah, BlackRock Advisors UK increased their holdings by 33% on January 31st. Also, January 31st, BlackRock Fund Advisors 15% increase in their shares, and that's it. Invesco didn't increase in January. I was recent. Anyways, that's that. Okay, so let's go look here at BitDigital. So this is on their own website, BitDigital, their webpage, bitdigital.com. They announced the commencement of their AI revenue generation for inaugural AI contract. So you'll notice here that it says the total contract value for their GPUs is worth more than $50 million of annualized revenue to BitDigital. Keep that number in mind, 50 million in revenue for BitDigital. If you look at this page and remember, last year, 2023, they only made $36 million. So they're expecting to make more off this AI business than they did through the entire year of 2023. Honestly, if they make that 50, they'll be and they keep their costs to about the same, that they might actually turn a profit in 2024. So that would be very exciting. And if they turn a profit, this thing's going to go nuts, just like CleanSpark did. So keep that in mind. This AI business might be the thing that turns them into a profitable business, which is kind of wild. Anyways, the other bit of news here that I thought was very interesting and important is that during the year of 2024, they're intending to use that cash flow from the AI side of the business in order to buy more Bitcoin mining rigs and double their exahash, their hash rate from it's like 3 to 6 in 2024. Now, that is just a plan. That doesn't mean it's going to happen. And the only language I don't like about this is opportunistically acquire new Bitcoin mining rigs in 2024. I don't know how well that is going to go during a halving year when everyone's jumping on the bandwagon and we're getting that euphoria of crypto mining again, just like we did 4 years ago. If you remember, you could not buy a GPU at all for any purpose back in those days. It was actually, I remember I was buying computer parts back then. It was quite difficult and expect it to get difficult again. So I don't know how successful they will be with this. I don't love that opportunistically acquire during 2024. I feel like they should have done that acquiring or at least made the deals to make that acquiring in 2023 like Bitfarms did, like CleanSpark did, like Hut did, like CIFR did, like all the others, did during this year. So I feel like their opportunity has come and passed to get those rigs at a good price and get them in a high quantity. So we'll see how that works out. I'm skeptical of that, but I mean, I've been skeptical of their ways before and they've proven that they can make it happen, that they can execute in the past. So I'm not scared, but I am skeptical. So anyways, that's what's going on there. Let's have a look see at their Bitcoin production for January. That's also on their webpage here in 2024, January, first month. They made 145.7 Bitcoin, 14% less than they did in December 2023, which was kind of to be expected. Like every Bitcoin miner had a bumper month in December, mining a ridiculous amount of Bitcoin compared to other months in the year. So I'm not too surprised by that decrease. The fact that it's only 14% is not too bad, especially since their operating hash rate was only 2.5, which is actually lower than their full capacity, their full mining capacity. So that they mined only 14% less with, not even utilizing their entire capacity to mine. So that's not the worst thing. Their treasury holdings are improving again. They haven't sold any of their ETH, but they were selling Bitcoin quite quickly in the past. And if I remember correctly, in fact, I'm going to bring it up right now, compassmining.io. I'm going to go to the December roundup for the Bitcoin miners. How much did BitDigital have at that time? BitDigital had 643 at the end of December, and at the end of January, they've got 739. So they sold only 45-ish, maybe 46 of the Bitcoin that they produced. So they only sold 30% of what they produced in January, and that's promising. It's a significant decrease from the prior month's selling, and the fact that they stopped selling Bitcoin is why I am back um, in on Bit Digital again and have some shares. Again, this is not a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any assets whatsoever. This is for educational purposes only. Please do your own research and come to your own conclusions regarding any investments. But I do like what they're doing with their Bitcoin holdings right now. Their Ethereum holdings are great. In fact, they actually have more dollar value of Ethereum than they do of Bitcoin right now. Actually, 10 million more in terms of dollar value of Ethereum than Bitcoin. And all of that Ethereum is being staked. What is it, like 4.7%? Is that what Ethereum's getting these days? Um, oh no, 3.69% is what they got last year for their staked position in Ethereum, which I mean on 41 million is not bad. It's not great because it's not a huge amount of money, but they're not a huge company, so it's not bad. I wouldn't mind that on money that's just parking, accumulating value. Um, so that's kind of why I'm back in on Bit Digital. Why I like Bit Digital again right now. They're reaccumulating Bitcoin again. They're planning to double their hash rate so they can stay competitive in 2024. They have the Ethereum side of things that no other Bitcoin miner is doing right now in terms of holding Ethereum and staking Ethereum, which I think is a really great decision on their part. Their AI business is actually up and running and already generating revenue. So if we go ahead and look at it, it isn't on this page. Yes, it is on this page. As of January 23rd, 2024, the company had 192 servers actively generating revenue from their AI contract. They made about $1 million of revenue from that contract in January 2024. Now, that's a far cry from the 50 million they're expecting to make annually, or even, cut down to a monthly allotment. One is not even close. They've come down to 12 million if that's how much revenue they continue to generate per month. But the fact that they just started. They announced this like what 3 months ago, so they're just getting these servers going. They already have a customer. They're already making money with it. That is promising. I do like that. That does make me feel more confident. And the fact that this company is being backed by Investco, by BlackRock, by State Street, it gives me that confidence that this is going to be more than $3 in the future. I can't say that for sure, but I feel fairly confident about that assessment when I look at all the information together. So this page is about an expansion of the mining fleet. Now, this is a small part of the expansion. This isn't going to double their hash rate like they said they want to do. But they are going to acquire 2,340 S19K Pro mining units. So those mining units, if we look down here, they will make about 260 petahash at an efficiency rate of 23 joules to terahash. Efficiency is important. I'd have to look at a chart as to how that stacks up to the competitors. The fact that they're writing it here tells me that it's efficient enough for them to be proud of. I'm not going to go into that right now, but let's look at how much petahash is in exahash. So this is the hash power calculator. So 26, you can see my cursor right here, petahash. 260 petahash is actually 0.26 exahash. So it's really not much in the grand scheme of how much they will or they do have. Let me go to the front of the page here, their homepage, front, get their homepage and see, do they have it on here, their hash rate? So yeah, so they have 3.7 is their maximum hash rate, and they're going to jump that with this deal by 0.26, not even getting them to 4. It's just 3.96 hash rate. So it's a really minimal expansion on their part, but it's something, so I'm happy about that. There's something here. Yeah, so you see, this agreement represents an important step towards achieving our doubling of our active mining fleet to approximately 6 exahash during 2024. Now, they have to do this. December 2024 comes around and they have not doubled their exahash to 6 by that time, and they are not reporting at least $3 or $4 million a month coming out of their AI business, I'm out of Bit Digital at that point. That is what I'm looking for. They need to double their hash rate. They need to stick to this goal right here. They need to achieve this goal. And they need to be making anywhere between $3 to $4 million a month off their AI business, or I'm going to pull the plug on my shares of Bit Digital. Because if they cannot achieve this one right here, especially this right here, if they cannot achieve this right here, they cannot remain competitive in the mining space. They just can't do it. Because when the halving comes around, Bitcoin becomes twice as difficult to mine, meaning you need twice the hash rate in order to stand still and just produce the same amount of Bitcoin that you made last cycle. So if they cannot achieve this hash rate, they are not competitive. They are losing ground to their competitors. And if their AI business is not generating the 50 million a year that they have claimed it will, then they are also falling behind in their revenue streams, which means that I start becoming concerned about bankruptcy at that point. So those two, like Ethereum's not going to save them from that. If they can't double their hash rate and they're not making that 50 million they said they're going to make off the AI business, their Ethereum staking isn't going to save them. So I do like their diversification, but I need to see execution, and I'll hold through this year, or at least towards the end of the year. But if they're not making positive big strides towards this goal, this 6 exahash goal towards the end of 2024, you better believe I'm out of this play. So, and I'll move it into better miners like CleanSpark or something. If that is the case, I'm not saying that's the case right now. I am in Bit Digital. I do have 1,600 shares of Bit Digital right now that I'm sitting on at a cost basis around like 260 or something. Um, and I do expect it to go up to 5, 10, 15, even 30 or 40 bucks at some point. But they have to achieve this goal, or I don't want to risk, or I'm taking my risk off the table with them if they cannot reach this goal. All right, that's my spiel. All right, moving on to the next part. So did I do this? Oh yes. So this, I guess this is the page I should have been on for all that. So yeah, these are their goals for 2024. They want to expand their mining fleet, diversify and grow. Excuse me. Their AI business, maintain a flexible balance sheet and a strong one, and increase their treasury of staked ETH. Yeah, I mean they're gonna increase their staked ETH just by staking the ETH and using putting the drip on that to reinvest that staking rewards that they get from that. They'll increase that no problem. That's about all there. And I looked at this, so let's take a look at their chart now. So that's Bit Digital. Things are looking up right now. They're making some good progress in areas that they said they would, which is why I bought back into them. But they do have a long way to go. They do have some lofty promises that they have to meet in order to keep me as an investor. And again, like I said before, this is not a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any assets whatsoever. Please do your own research and come to your own conclusions about any investments that you choose to make. But these are the pieces of information that I think are important, that in my opinion will influence my decisions for my own portfolio. And they're things that you should know about when you decide to do your own research and look into these companies. So with that out of the way, let's look at their chart. Honestly, even with this big red knife right here, I still like the way this chart looks. In fact, I love the way this chart looks right now because this chart is showing a retest. So we had a breakout here on February 12th. This was a breakout of this double bottom. This candle here is coming back to retest the midpoint of that double bottom. If $3 holds right here, if that holds above this middle point for that double bottom and shows strength, that is very bullish, and I am very excited about that. This is one of the most bullish charts I'm looking at. Like a lot of people will look at this one right here and this candle and go, "Oh, no, everything's, collapsing and falling down." But no, that's not the case. I don't think that's through here. And I'll show you here in the opposite direction here. So if we go into this little space right here, right there. So we have this up here. Let me draw another box, I guess. Up here is where the top was, right? We had this breakdown here, right? This big candle was the break, two big candles were the breakdown, which took it out of that range and back into a different range. We went as low as all the way down here, right? What did we do? We came back and back tested this space up here. And I bet you if I drill down to a lower time frame that we'll see some structure not too different from something like what's going on here. But anyways, we back tested it. And you might have thought it was going to go back up, but no, it was just back testing it. This wick came up and hissed this wick up here. And then once it failed to do that, showed weakness, right? This big wick on top showed weakness, then followed by a red candle, followed by a doji. These two candles are weakness. And then what happens? We just dump all the way back down to 240. Now let's take a look at some lower time frames. I'm curious if that's the case. Let's go to 2 hours, see what we find. A little bit, yeah, no, not. Let's see here. This would, no, let's go to 1 hour. Let's see what's in there. That was a bad day, huh? All right, so a little bit. This candle was wicked, huh? Must have been a gap if I do like the pre-market stuff. I bet you it's, oh God, I hate looking at this. Uh, what did I move? There it is. All right. Yeah, there we go. So we had a bit of a double top here. That's the midpoint there. We did come back to test that here in the pre-markets. Failed, came down like that. Anyways, let's see here. So this would have been like a double top, right? We have our top here. Here, I'll show you. Hate how this looks. There's a top here and a top here, and your midpoint right. It's so ugly right there. And when we came past it, we went way past it, came back up, touched it. Notice how we didn't really go above it right around here. Didn't really go above it. Past it, came back, retested it, and then what? Just down, 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 down. I mean, it's ugly, but it's there, right? Top, top, midpoint, came under, retested, fell, came back up, retested, fail, and then we just went down into the dumps from there. That's what I'm looking for right now. That's what I'm trying to see here in the opposite direction on the way up. I'm looking for that type of price action in order to confirm my suspicions that this is actually bullish. And so if we can stay above this line, right? Came up, tested, launched. Come back. I want to test. This might be the test, right? And then launch. I want to see it do that. And if you look at this structure here, bet you if I move that over here, it's going to look very similar. Oh boy, look at that, right? Top here comes down to the bottom of that body there. We're hanging out in the middle, just moving into it. It's this very similar algorithmic move here. Where was I at? Something like that. So boom, boom. I expect there at some point to be another gap up off of this. That's what I'm trying to say out of these moves. Bit Digital likes to do that. Like a lot of these crypto plays like to do a lot of like the same patterns over and over again. I mean, like look at a couple of these, right? Like let me get a box over here. Like this one and this one and this one. Patterns are so easy to find in the crypto related stuff. Like right here, right here, right here, same exact pattern over and over again. You know, and then this move here, and you know, and come on, and this one here, same stuff. Looks exactly the same. You'll get used to noticing that stuff on these charts as you look at them more and more and more. And it'll just be something second nature at some point. You'll just look, oh, look at this, and this is what I think based on that. Doesn't mean I'm right. Like I don't have to be right, but I do like that it's coming back to that midpoint. I do like that we didn't go below that midpoint. It's showing that there is support here. And I also like that this $3 line also kind of lines up with the center point of this upward ascending channel here. I love channels. And I do expect it to maybe hit here and then bounce off of that. I bet you there is an SMA in there too. Oh yeah. So that's orange is the 50. The 50-hour one tomorrow will be up at $3. So we might actually tap that and then launch from there in the pre-market, I would imagine. I mean in the let me turn it on actually. In the after hours today even we just took off. You can see here in the after hours we just went up. That's great. Let me turn that off because I hate looking at it that way. Right. Get out of my face. Anyways, let's see about the 1 day too. So the 1 day, not really. Nothing too exciting in the SMAs there. The fact that we're under the 50 there, I don't love that on price. I would want to see price get back above this pretty quick, or then I'm going to start getting a little bearish on that. The fact that we've got a green arrow back here is great on that, meaning the 5 is moving its way up over the SMAs here. The fact that the RSI is only at a 57 in this range here with that green arrow is nice. The fact that the VIX fix is not, the smallest it can be is also not so bad. So I don't dislike this at all. And I do think that at some point in the near future, we will overtake this high here. And some point by the end of the year, like if Bitcoin doesn't stop raging as it has been, and it has been raging, let's take a look at that. Yeah, it's just flying high. It's at $52,000 right now. Look, it's right at the top of this upper channel. It's almost like I know what I'm doing. Hit it, stopped there. It might go past it, but I feel like it's probably gonna gonna blow off some steam, come back down into this 50,000 range a little bit, maybe even a little lower for a few days. It's got to cool off. I mean, but like look at this Lunar New Year seasonality. Started right here on February 9th at 45,000 and we're at 52,000. At one point we were up here at $53,000. So that's pretty exciting. That seasonality is fantastic. Oh, do keep in mind though that some of the most difficult trading days of the year are coming in at the back end of February. It's a seasonal trait for the regular markets, and that may have an effect on Bitcoin as well. We also have to keep in mind that tomorrow's OPEX, so Friday, February 16th, that is OPEX. That's a big day for volatility, and we could see some huge moves in both directions off that day. We also have NVIDIA earnings next week on February 21st. I know hearing that doesn't necessarily feel like it is directly related to Bitcoin, but NVIDIA is a similar risk on type of investment. And if it tumbles, I would expect other risk on investments to tumble with it. So keep an eye on those earnings. Those will be important. All right, let's get back to Bit Digital. So if Bitcoin retakes its previous all-time high, where was Bit Digital when it was at its all-time high? Bit Digital was up here at $33. So if Bitcoin gets back to and maintains its previous all-time high, and Bit Digital is capable of doubling its hash rate to 6, achieving that 50 million a year or 3 to 4 million a month in AI revenue, and they've got their Ethereum staking to fall back on, I don't see any reason they cannot achieve this number again. And that would be a 10x from current values. Now, it's not saying to go run out and buy it right now and you're going to make 10x your money, but that makes me feel very comfortable in my position currently. It makes me think that when red days come around, I think about buying. Like today was a red day. I bought like 50, 60 shares. I'm not buying tons of them on every red day, but I'm nibbling. I'm dollar cost averaging. I am accumulating on those days because I am aiming for that $33. Honestly, I'm aiming for this $48 up here. I want to have $100,000 with Bit Digital when it hits $48. That's what I'm looking for. That's what my goals are. Your goals may differ, and you need to decide what your goals are for this play, for these stocks. Honestly, you should have an exit strategy before you're even buying. Mine is sell my cost basis at $33 or close to it, maybe down here at 30 or maybe even down here at 27. Get my cost basis out so I am risk free on every other share going in. And then the remainder, anywhere between 33 and 48 is like the biggest win in the world for me on BitDigital. If I can sell even half of what I'm holding above $33, I hit the biggest home run of my entire life. That's how I feel about it. If I sell the other half at 48 or geez, over 50, I might just have a heart attack from all that success. So those are big dreams right now when we're at $3, but we've been here before. Bitcoin is reaching a price that it was when we were at this price in BitDigital. Bitcoin will achieve and surpass that price. And if BitDigital can, if they are able to hold to their commitments that they've outlined in on their webpage, in their roadmaps, I'm fairly confident that they can get back up to these prices. And I think that the reason you have companies like BlackRock, Investco, Vanguard, and State Street also parking sums of money in this asset, I think they have an inkling that it could potentially get to these valuations as well. So that's what I think about BitDigital. That's the deep dive today. This became kind of a long one. If you're still here, thank you for watching so much. You're very important to this channel, and I appreciate every second that you spend with us here. And please like, comment, and subscribe, and have a profitable day.